influential people who have studied this thing are calling the largest growing global health industry in the entire world.
So, you're going to have, I believe, if you decide you want to become a part of this revolution, this community of people, and have it just for your own information, or whether you want to have it as a practitioner, or just do the business side online. Some of the biggest thrills of your life is when you hear about people that have overcome some very debilitating things. And they've been able to do it because of the knowledge that you've been able to present to them. I've had the wonderful opportunity of helping just a little over 36 people in wheelchairs that were told they would never walk again the rest of their life. They're up and walking and running. Sam Best, an Australian mountain biker, we have his video. We don't have it here today to show you, but it'll be on the website. He broke his spine in 3 places as he went down a cliff of, I don't know how many, like 100 meters or something, smashed into the rocks. They had to helicopter him out. He broke his back in 3 places, busted ribs, his collarbones. They told him he had to have 3 titanium rods, and then he'd be in a wheelchair the rest of his life. And he got me on the phone with his wife, wanted to know what I felt he should do. I explained it to him. 3 weeks later, they strapped him up because he wouldn't allow them to treat him. And he walked out of the hospital, went home, healed on his own, had no surgeries, nothing. And he's back riding, and that was just 9 months ago. He's back riding a bicycle and doing. You'll see one girl, Jennifer Ritchie, told she'd be quadriplegic, then told she'd be paraplegic. They cut her spinal cord in order to save function. They had to lose function. Told she'd never walk. And then in the end of the 8-minute video, you see her running up a hill with her children. And so there's things here that we have been indoctrinated to think is a certain way. And it's time in this age to begin to question and to use our intuition, our imagination, and knowledge and experience once again, and rediscover this. I was invited into 3 different collections when I was out looking for that sacred meal for 17 years and put on 4 million air miles. I lived amongst different cultures to learn the wisdom of what they were doing. The Vatican granted me special dispensation to see their collection, which most people never see, not even archaeologists. I spent weeks and weeks in there. I came across a scroll in a ceramic tube. I lifted the thing out. It was a bunch of pages they had put together, and I looked at this thing, did a translation of it slowly using lexicons in the Hebrew and Aramaic, and it was literally called Gaia. Some people say Gaia, but it was originally spelled G-A-E-A. And the title of this thing was A Mother's Call. And it literally spoke about men and women who were losing their health and they didn't understand why. And they went out and left the community they were in because they were afraid that they may make the others ill. And then they hear a voice speaking, and it was the Mother Earth. And at first you would think this is just a fantasy. They're just making this up, and whoever wrote this thing. But as you go into this thing and see the brilliance and the wisdom and what they learned about the sun and about the earth and the air and everything else in it, is just moving and precious and brilliant. But it reminded me of the Carib Indians in the Caribbean, who to this day in their oral traditions proclaim that their people heard the voice of the earth, because corn or maize did not exist on the earth. Botanists know that it's man-made from a brilliant putting together of cereal grains and flowers and blossoms, and they came up with yellow and red and blue and white. And they claimed that they heard the earth speak which ones needed to be brought together, and there it is. Botanists to this day are still trying to reverse track it and see how, and they haven't been able to do it. But a lot of people don't realize that the reason it's called an ear of corn is because that's the translation into the English that they had of ear in their own tongue. The mother spoke to them. So what I've done is that I've taken the translation of this thing, and I've had different things that I've had in the past with Benequista Galleries in Washington, D.C. And we did small versions of this that weren't even complete. And people were so thrilled at what we had. They were fairly wealthy people that spent just under $8,000 just to get that. And so here's what I'm doing, and this is the first time I've ever offered this. And it's a limited edition, a signed limited edition of this piece that's going to be printed on canvas. And it's going to be the entire lost information of that scroll, which is not even allowed now out of the Vatican. And it took them years to grant me permission to go ahead and to put it out. And so for those of you that want to become a part of this and learn these courses of health and help others, the price of $19.95 is typically US, but I don't like the division of countries and monies. And so that is Australian dollars. And I would love to have you be a part of this. And for those of you that talk to the team when this is over, and I'll meet you at the back table if you have questions, I'll be back there to help answer those things. I want to give one of these to you for free. It has a value at Benequista Galleries of $5,995. And the ones that they'll have will be finished selling. There's only about a dozen of them. But I'm going to make sure that you that sign up here today get one of those for free. I think it'll become a very, very precious heirloom. And in closing, I just want to say how much I love and appreciate the Australian citizenship. You have more freedom, and you don't have to feel so politically and religiously correct in just dealing with people. You have such a beautiful, wonderful sense of humor and kindness about you. And I believe that Australia are the ones that are going to step up, all of you people that are here, to help bring the world back to our common senses and our commonwealth once again. And I know you're going to run into people that are going to have an intolerance towards this kind of information that I just shared here today because of their indoctrination. Whenever there's a paradigm that's accepted amongst the masses, put into place by authority, whenever anybody comes along with an opposing view, there's a wall of intolerance and judgment towards them. Then over time, it gets acceptable, and then it's put in place as the new paradigm. That's typically what happens. So in this course, these 13 courses, I've added 5 selectives. And we deal with the psychology and the behavioral actions that you can set into place and the things you can demonstrate and share and show to help these kinds of people shift and at least experiment and try. I love you people. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.